I think I just got a killer deal on a modified Jeep Wrangler from the auction. What in the world is this?
You put like 20 G's in that Super Jeep.
Are these head studs? Are these things like ready for all the boosts? But like all sight unseen purchases, especially from the auction, you're taking a big gamble. Oh, what was that? Oh no. Let's hope it's not from the head gasket. Now, if I can fix this thing for cheap, it's a home run. But I have learned that Jeep Wranglers can have a ton of issues. The frame has a gigantic hole in it. Now, this whole thing started not too long ago with some good old-fashioned live auction bidding. All right, we got a 2000 Jeep Wrangler, should be coming up soon. And current bid is at $1,600. Let's join this auction. Oh, here we go, here we go. We're winning. Jeez, this is going quick. Get out of here, people. Winning. Illinois, that's me, that's me. No, Indiana, stop it. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. Get out of here, Indiana. Come on, come on, come on. Is he gonna wait till the last second? Ah! Bonus time, 2,100 bucks. That's a good deal. Come on, Illinois, that's me, that's me. Come on, come on, come on, stop it. Sold. Yes, yes, 2,100 bucks. That's a sweet deal. Clean title, 131,000 mile, 2000 Wrangler, and it runs and drives and everything. This has the straight six bulletproof engine. It is the automatic, which I'll get to once we go get the Jeep, but we want a Jeep. All right, I don't know if you guys caught that, but it was sold on approval, which means it didn't hit their reserve. And I just got this that popped up on my phone, seller countered. So my max bid was 21. Their reserve was actually 2,800 and they countered at 2,750. So I could just counter offer to that. So come in at like 24, see what they say. But this is only 20 minutes away. So I happen to be very close to the largest Copart in the whole country. So we're just gonna go to the lot right now. I need to check out the frame. All right, guys, here we are at the auction. And here is the Jeep. It's listed as being black, although it's got some different colored doors. And is this black? I know this sounds stupid, but is this black or is this dark blue? It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, it's got some different colored doors. Oh, this just looks like some kind of wrap. What I'm mostly interested in here is the frame. That is a big trouble area for all of these Jeeps if they're from around here. Keep in mind, anything full frame is gonna show some rust. So when you're looking at stuff like this, that is definitely not what I'm worried about. That is solid. It's mostly where it literally has holes in it. Even this right here is in pretty decent condition. And I'm all the way underneath here. Luckily it's not raining. This is a factory grommet, so we gotta get something in there. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's not horrible. There it is though, there it is. This section right here of the frame has a gigantic hole in it. Ah, that really stinks. Because the rest of this looks pretty good. It's not really leaking much. Ah, yeah, okay. It's got some different wheels on it, different front bumper as well. And let's see, are these seat covers? No, I don't think so, unless they recovered them. But this actually looks pretty nice. Yeah, the floors are okay so far. We got the key in here. Fires right up. Sounds great. We got good oil pressure so far. Yeah, this thing sounds awesome. No knocking, no nothing. Here is the driver's side frame and more of the same. They sell entire sections just because of this issue. This might have had rust damage as well. Oh man. The seat is not exactly bolted in the right manner, and there's some extra parts back here. I don't know what's going on. It's definitely cool though. I'm a huge fan of the TJ. This is the last generation that had the legendary 4-liter straight six. And this is also a Sahara edition. I'm not exactly sure what options you get with that. Probably not much in the year 2000. You still have crank windows. It's got some different speakers in the sound bar. The floors all look good. It's that stupid frame. This front bumper looks great too. That's kind of cool. What else we got going on? There are the springs. Gosh, just everything would just be an absolute nightmare to service. You guys have seen me fight rust on my channel. It's just no fun. Even welding in this new rear section of the frame, if I brought it to a shop, they have to disassemble so much, the labor, it would just be too much. They would have to cut it somewhere over here, but you gotta weld the good metal. So, I mean, how far back are you going? You're probably cutting this out as well. And yeah, you have to take apart a lot of the rear end. God, if only we could go back in time and make sure that all these original Jeep owners just coated the whole frame. This is an issue too around the windshield on some of them, but yeah, here she is, guys. I think I'm gonna have to pass. I'm glad I showed up. I probably would have won this around $2,400. Yeah, I mean, you could rock this for a little while, but if you went off-roading, which is what I want to do with it, it's right by the control arm. That could totally break. So unfortunately, I'm going to decline the counter offer. All right, going to look at another one right now, private. This is freshly painted. There's no holes in it yet. Yeah, my nuts rotted through. Yeah, there's a hole in the frame right there. Super, super thick scaling. Darn. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one. I messaged the guy, I was like, listen, is the frame actually not rusty? And he sent me pictures and it's spray painted black. And I'm like, no, but is it really not rusty? And he's like, no, it's solid, and it's not. Here we are again. I found another Jeep to look at. It's missing the doors, but the doors just come off of Jeeps, so it's not a big deal. This one is an automatic. You know what we gotta do? Oh, come on. Why? Why do they all have holes in the frame? Right on that arch is shot too. The water builds up at the bottom. And yeah, this thing is just rusty, very, very rusty. One of these days, I'm gonna find a clean frame Wrangler, one day. And so after all that, I bought a yellow Jeep Wrangler, sight unseen from an auction in Pennsylvania with no pictures of the frame at all. I don't think I learned my lesson. Fingers crossed here. So this is a dealer auction Jeep, but they didn't note that anything was wrong with the frame. Oh, and here we go. We can see the frame right away. So I'll explain why I risked it for this Jeep. But wow, right off the bat, it's not bad. Yeah, it looks very solid, very solid. Oh man, this is great. And look at the floors. I mean, they're dirty. But you guys saw what we were dealing with the other Jeeps. Like, this is nice. Let's check the other side. I gotta knock on something. This might be a keeper. Oh, I love the yellow too. I wanted a fun color on a Jeep Wrangler. Oh, this frame is nice. Guys, look at this. Look at that body mount. It's so beautiful. Ah, this thing's got some really nice wheels and tires. It's about to, roll off, and fall, but it's okay. It's a Jeep. It can do that. Okay, obviously this thing is a little modified, but I don't know exactly what. Look at that on the diff. So I got this Jeep out the door with fees and shipping and everything for $6,800. It's a 2004, and obviously it's got some mods, but we don't know exactly what. And one of the pictures at the auction, it has a stack of receipts, and I zoomed in, and on the first one, you can see 456 gears. So hopefully they did lockers. And what are the other receipts? I'm like dying to find out. I'm not gonna lie, there's a big part of me that bid to win on this one to find out what the receipts say. All right, 4-liter, of course, and it's a manual. It's a 2004. I think it's a 6-speed. It could be a 5-speed though. I don't know what the year brake was, but it is a manual. I really wanted a manual, yellow. It's got the hard top. It might have the soft top in there. Guys, I am so excited. I've wanted a Jeep Wrangler. I mean, everybody's wanted a Jeep Wrangler, right? All right, she's coming off. Look at that, it's trail rated. When did they come out with the trail rated thing? That's kind of a marketing gimmick, probably, but it is. I mean, they're great on trails. First time touching my Jeep. Oh. Just paid the shipper, so this is mine. I already got the title in the mail, clean title. Now, the reason why I didn't, bother looking at this is, well, multiple reasons, but mainly because at this dealer auction, you can arbitrate major things like frame damage, and they did not list any damage at all in the frame. And some of the things they did list were very minor. So they actually did a really nice condition report on this one, and it got a 3.3 out of 5, which is phenomenal for like a 20-year-old Jeep Wrangler. Another reason is there are many parts of Pennsylvania, potentially the whole state, let me know in the comments, that they don't use salt. So that's what eats up the frame. Water is usually fine, it's the salt. And good job, Pennsylvania, for not using salt. So this frame is awesome. We'll take a better look on the rack. I'm dying to find the receipts, honestly. Oh man, this interior is sweet. Keep in mind, this is a Jeep that looks like it's been, used maybe a little off-road, unless they just did it for show. But like, the seat bolsters are great. Usually all the foam padding on these from getting in and out all the time is destroyed and there's holes, but that's beautiful. Wow, look at even the steering wheel. That's a good sign. And there are no lights in the dash. It only has 127,000 miles. And we'll get into this, but the straight 6 4-liter Jeep engine is one of the most reliable, strongest engines ever made. I love the shift knob. That's actually pretty cool. We get some switches, probably for lights, a radio. What in the world is this? This is completely aftermarket. That could be lockers for the diff. And oh, by the way, carpeting is optional on the Jeep Wrangler, especially at this time. So this one does not have the carpet, but they bed lined it, which is great. I mean, it looks fine. All right, we got to figure out what those are. I think these are aftermarket speakers in here. Oh, cool. It's got a subwoofer. Awesome. Here's the back seat. I don't know if this is bolted in at all, so we'll have to figure that out. And then obviously all the roll cage part of a Jeep is stock. That's all factory. Manual windows, of course. I don't know if this is a 6-speed though. This could be a 5. What in the world? Oh, this is funny. This is a glasses case. Oh, and then it's got like, it's not a snorkel. It's like a mushroom top air filter. What do you call those? I don't know. This is great. Steering feels good. Good oil pressure as well. So this was listed as a run and drive, and I saw pictures of the cluster running, so I took a chance. Oh, where are these receipts, man? They were in the auction pictures. They gotta be here somewhere. Let's open up this hood. Oh, there she is. Whisper quiet, fantastic engine. This is a really common spot for rust, so they pointed that out in the auction pictures. So I'll have to get that fixed eventually. Got a little bit of hack wiring. Okay, coil pack looks new. It's just one gigantic rail of coils. The driver told me the battery is weak, and this looks like it's for the amp. Other than that, looking good under the hood. Where are the receipts? Where are the receipts? Are they under here? All right, what do we got? Oh, come on. Dude, don't tell me the people at the auction took all the receipts. That would really stink. Look at the meat on these tires. And 2019 date code. That's when the 456s were done, and I wonder if they did lockers too. They put Quadratech LED headlights. That's a good brand. We got some KC fog lights. Look at that. They put quick disconnects for the sway bar links too. We totally have lockers, guys. That's what this cable is. Running to those levers by your feet. That is awesome. Oh, that oil pan took a beating. Okay, probably gonna wanna replace that. So I wonder how lifted it is. Probably a 3 to 4 inch lift. And does it still have the, oh, it's got disc brakes. Guys, look at this. This has disc brakes in the rear. So I wonder if they swapped out the whole dip. These things all came with drum brakes in the rear, and I was bummed out about that, but you can obviously convert them, and this guy already did. Man, I bet you someone spent a ton of money on this. We're gonna add it all up, and I'm calling the auction for the receipts. I mean, I paid $68 out the door, clean title, run and drive. This could have been a really good deal. Like, if this was marketed right, it could have been a $10,000, $12,000 Jeep all day. We gotta go for our first ride in the Jeep. Unlike a lot of cars that I've wanted for a long time, I've never like been in most of them. Like, I'd never been in a GN, I'd never been in a DeLorean, I'd never been in a Typhoon before. I've been in a Wrangler, and I've driven a Wrangler off-road, and man, even the base model ones are just great. Like, they're unstoppable. Big moment, first time going into gear. It went in, nice. Oh, what was that? Okay, it had to have been rubbing. Yeah, it's not doing it going straight. All right, forget about that. Oh, no. Grindy transmission. This is reminding me of the Camaro. I couldn't even get into gear. They did not list that. Okay, we're in 4th. 1 to 2 is really bad. Am I rebuilding another transmission? Might have to. All right, that's 5th. So it's only a 5-speed? Here's the answer, guys. So mine is a 2004 model year. So even though the 6-speed came out in 2004, it was 2005 model year for that. And it came with a Mercedes 6-speed. In the listing, they listed it as a 6-speed, and then I thought they came out in 04, but I was wrong. Okay, so that was reverse. All right, let's try this 1 to 2. Maybe I was just being an idiot. I don't know. Nah, I mean, I could get it to not grind, but I could feel it. It's a little grindy. This could be clutch hydraulics. We'd have to go down the same route that we did with the SS Camaro. And ended up just needing synchros and gears and stuff like that. Let's see. I can do it. You hit a certain RPM and it's fine. It drives like a lifted Jeep. It's it's a little wobbly, but overall the alignment's good. Steering wheel's off a little. Nothing weird though. I haven't experienced any death wobble yet. It handles like a Ferrari that was plopped onto a Jeep Wrangler frame and lifted. Oh, we got a bump. I'm like slowing down for the bump. I don't need to do that anymore. Oh man, and then when it snows and there's a mound of snow in a parking lot, I'm gonna do something that no Jeep owner has ever done. I'm gonna park on that mound of snow. No one's ever done that. It'll be so unique and just, oh, can't wait. We need to get this in the shop. Pulling into LegitStreetCars. Oh no, what is that? Is that a random cinder block directly in my path to the shop? Oh no, what am I gonna do? Oh yeah, I forgot. I got a Jeep. Oh. Okay, that didn't go as planned. Okay, you guys ever heard of the term epic fail? That's what that was. I meant to climb over it for some comedic relief here, and I failed. It's time to figure out if this transfer case works, because I was in 2-wheel drive. Okay, that's 4 high, neutral, 4 low. Okay, so then that pops up. Look at that oil pressure, that's great. Let's try this again, impossible obstacle. Ha! Yes! Okay, the e-brake doesn't work, but I did it! I'm a real Jeep guy. Well, it's actually a few weeks later and the Jeep is on a rack. I've had a lot of dead projects on racks, so we cleared one out. Let's lift this thing up for the first time. That's how it would look with even more of a lift. I think I'm good with the level of lift it's at right now. Here we go, here we go. What did I buy? So far, something that's just a little dirty, but with a clean frame. Gosh, that's so nice to see after all of the nasty ones I looked at. Do we have much play? We got a little boot missing here, that's fine. There's no real play there. And you can't just replace the boot for a couple bucks. But yeah, these feel good. Tie rods are tight. We got a smashed up oil pan. This definitely needs some kind of oil pan protection, but it's not only smashed, but it's quite rusted. I might consider replacing this whole oil pan. Hang on, before we do that, are you guys into fantasy sports? Because if you are, Prize Picks is the best no matter what sport you're into. I love the NBA and you can win up to 100 times your cash with as little as 4 correct picks. So you're just gonna pick more or less. So in this case, I do think Jokic is gonna do 50.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And I think Jaylen Brown's gonna get less than 3.5 assists. I don't know, I could be wrong on that one. Pascal, more than 20.5 points, definitely. And Brandon Ingram, he's great, but I'm going with less. Then we just finalize our lineup and we're on our way. 100 times your cash. If I get all these right. Prize Picks is available in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. They have over 10 million users and you can play with your friends and family. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. So each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select players' projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. Now, the best part is you guys can download the Prize Picks app for free by clicking on my link down below. And when you do, use code LegitStreetCars. That's gonna get you $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup, and you don't even have to win to get the 50 bucks. You're gonna get it no matter what. So click on the link down below, use code LegitStreetCars. Now back to the video. Transmission looking good. We're definitely swapping out the fluid here in a couple minutes to see if that helps with the shifting. We have a new U-joint in the rear and it's dirty. I mean, like the thing was used, but yeah, overall, the floors look really solid. And so do the body mounts, looking good. That looks kind of new actually. So does that one. Heat shielding of the mufflers going bad, no biggie. Oh, this is totally loose, the rear sway bar. Look at that. We're definitely gonna test out the lockers. You can see the cables going in. We'll see if that works. But yeah, overall, disc brakes in the rear. You know, I like that. And look at this, it basically has a harmonic balancer for the rear drive shaft. That's neat. Lots of possible vibrations with a Wrangler like this, so I like that. But everything else is solid, guys. U-joints are good. It's just a little dirty. If I cleaned this thing up and made a proper listing here in Chicago, I think I'd get a minimum of $10,000, maybe 12. I mean, I'm keeping it, but this has got a ton of money into it, and I did call the auction. They can't find the receipts, but the seller said that they actually know the previous owner really well, so they're gonna send them my contact information and see if they'll, call me and let me know all about the Jeep. So hopefully that's coming up a little bit later, and we'll figure out how much coin went into my Wrangler. Let's get right to work on this Jeep. I have a feeling the exhaust is coming off in my near future, so we're gonna start spraying it down. There we go. Hit up the O2 sensors too, just in case. It looks like the exhaust needs to be basically completely removed to swap out the oil pan. I loosened up the fill for the transmission, so we'll see if they overfilled it, and we can take a look at our fluid. Fingers crossed, there's no metal shavings. Okay, well, they didn't overfill it. That's good. This takes a 17 millimeter Allen, it's massive. And I'm using a breaker bar here. Working smarter, not harder. Ah, here we go. What do we got? What do we got? Please don't be nasty. Please don't be nasty. Is that aeration or is that shiny stuff? What in the world? Definitely got a little shiny stuff, that's for sure. There we go. Yeah, we got some stuff on the bottom of the drain, and yeah, there was definitely some glitter in there. I took a fluid sample in a Dunkin' Donuts cup, and wow, even just this little sample I took, you see all that brass? That would be synchros, definitely. Wow, a lot of them too. This is a small sample. So if you guys watched my full 6-speed manual transmission rebuild on my 2010 Camaro SS, we know all about synchros and what can happen to them. In the case of the Camaro, actually, it was mostly the second gear itself that it stripped out, but that usually happens because of bad synchros or bad driving. The Jeep does have 127,000 miles on it, so I'm not saying it's abnormal. And it actually shifts quite well considering what we just saw in that tiny little sample. There's probably a ton of material inside, but yeah, this transmission, to be perfect, would need to be taken down, new synchros and all that kind of good stuff. But we are gonna try and get some extra life out of this with some really good fluid. So we'll go back together with some good old synchro mesh. I got a whole case of the manual synchro mesh fluid for the Jeep and many other vehicles. So this might give us some decent shifting for a little while. And because this is the 5-speed and I've already determined I'm keeping this Jeep, I love it and it's so clean, I'm gonna consider a 6-speed swap because the next year they had the 6-speed manual. So if I'm taking this transmission out anyway, why not put a 6-speed in? Let me know in the comments, what do I need to do for the 6-speed? I think it's the same transfer case and everything. But this will be fun nonetheless to see if this actually helps. Look at this stuff in the drain pan. Oh yeah. Sometimes this is kind of normal. Like if you don't see the shiny brass stuff, like fine if it's been 50 to 100,000 miles, but it's kind of fun to play with it. It's a goopy mess. Anyway, I just cleaned this up, so let's pretend that never happened. We'll put this back and hope for the best. You know, I love borescopes. Let's take a look at the internal workings of this transmission, or at least what we can see so far, actually. So good. We don't have any shaved off teeth yet, but then again, we're only looking at a small portion of the transmission. These gears look good though. Yeah, this is probably just a synchro job, honestly. Sometimes you gotta do synchros. All right, we have the transfer fluid transferring. Stay. So we'll fill this bad boy up with some synchro mesh. Just like a differential, once the fluid starts to come out, you can go ahead and install your plug and you're done. Stop leaking. And speaking of oil leaks, I think the engine is leaking oil. Let's hope it's not from the head gasket and that it's from the valve cover gasket. That'd be nice. Well, at the very least, we gotta start with a valve cover gasket. There's definitely a bunch of oil here in the back. It could also be this PCV seal. Yeah, there's oil all over back here, and it's pretty common on the old 4-liter for it to leak from the valve cover gasket. Otherwise, this straight 6 engine is basically bulletproof. Wait a minute, what is this? Are these head studs? Look at that, that's a stud and that's a 12-point nut. Do 4-liters have stock head studs? Are these things like ready for all the boost? Okay, according to Google, yes, the 4-liter Jeep Wrangler engine has factory head studs. No, it doesn't. What? There is no way that is correct. That's gotta be one of those general AI answers from Google. Anybody know why the 4.0 has head studs? What in the world? Guys, if this thing has head studs, I'm boosting it. We gotta take that valve cover gasket off. I can't get this valve cover off soon enough. We got an intake to remove. Come on, battery, are you serious? Sometimes you gotta give it a little shake. This guy's dying. So on this engine, you have the intake manifold and the exhaust manifold on one side. So they're kind of like sandwiched together and use some of the same hardware too. The more you know, get off. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sometimes you just need 2 arms and 2 hands. Intake out. We got a bunch of 11mm bolts for the valve cover. Jeep, what were you thinking on the size there? Or is it standard? I don't know, 11 fits perfectly. I think it's an 11. I just want to be there for the conversation that the guy in charge of Jeep Wrangler engine bolts had with the bolt manufacturer. They're like, yeah, we got about 4 billion 10s and 13s. We'll take 11s. We can get you a great price on, bolts with a 13mm head. No, we'll pay more. We'll pay more for the weird ones. Jeep engine bolt guy, if you're watching, just comment the reason. I just want to know. And also, while you're commenting, do I have head studs? I broke the PCV valve. This thing is stuck in here like crazy. New one of those, new seal on order. We're gonna feed this through though so we can get the throttle cable out of the way. Okay, and now we just have a harness back there, I think, holding us. How's our air filter? Sorry, I'm all over the place, I'm excited. All right, the front part of the valve cover, easy. Back part, not so easy. So I was able to remove this engine harness cover from what looks to be head studs to me. There's a few of them down the line here. But this harness here, pain in the butt. I can't even show it to you, but there's a bolt all the way back there. Tough to get to. But I think we're loose. Oh yeah, we're definitely loose. Pulling up this heat shielding that goes over the studs. This is honestly not really in the best of shape. I don't think this is gonna make it back in. Well, I thought the valve cover was ready to go, but look at this. It's being hung up on that hose clamp. Seriously. I think if we get the hose clamp out of the way, it'll come up. That's so crazy. I moved the clamp up. Oh, it's still tight. Hang on, we need Mercedes-Benz sunroof grease. That's gonna come in here and save us. We're gonna grease up the outside of this hose. Let's see if we can make it pass now. Yes! That's all she needed. It's coming off. There we we are. Valve cover out. Sometimes you just need a little bit of MB sunroof grease. All right, here's our never-ending sea of rocker arms. It's always kind of crazy to see a straight 6-cylinder head. They're just so long. And this is an iron head too. Imagine removing this. You'd definitely want to lift it out. But here is our gasket. Man, this is an old gasket. Like it is like fused to the head. This could definitely be the original valve cover gasket on this guy. Oh, there it is. It's coming off. Oh, it's got a stud too. That's cool, I guess. This engine harness is just like the bane of my existence. Get out. It is just totally in the way. We don't need you. Yeah, we totally need that. It's like literally the engine harness. You know, the engine wouldn't work without it, but here's our valve cover gasket. Okay, but you know the real reason we're here. Do we have head studs? Look at that. It looks like a head stud to me. Oh, yeah, but that looks like a head, that's a head bolt right there, but it's that 12-point style. You know, like ARP head bolts and studs, that's normally what they look like. I feel like Indiana Jones here. Let's wipe this away. What do we got? Does it say ARP in here? No, I don't think so. What is the deal? Half of these are studs and half of them are bolts. Well, there's a stud. There's a bolt. I think this is a fake stud. I think there's just a stud is part of the bolt, but it's not actually a real stud. Like that's like a bolt with a top with no threads, essentially. Yeah, that's what this is. There's no gap here. This is all like one piece. Like if we loosened up what looks to be a nut here, this whole thing would come out with it. Jeep, what are you doing to us? Fake head studs? You're just trying to like psych us out? We're all pumped up to like throw 20 pounds of boost or something like that at this straight 6. And for what? Why did you do this to us? Like the valve cover goes over this, completely unnecessary. The valve cover just lays right down. You don't need a guide pin there and there. And then you got these gigantic ones that hold on nothing really, like that heat shield that could have been zip tied to anything. We've been lied to, people. Anyone out there like me who thought for 20 minutes that you had head studs, you don't. You don't at all. You just have regular bolts with a cool 12-point head. Okay, hang on. I just noticed something else that's really, really weird and unexpected. Can you guys tell? Hang on. What's missing? What's missing in here? Take a look at the accessory drive. Do you see anything missing there? And here is where the heater core lines go. Are there any other lines anywhere? Okay, one last hint if you haven't figured this out yet. Where is the little snowflake AC button on this control panel? It doesn't exist. My Jeep doesn't have factory air conditioning. I honestly never even thought about that. I mean, if there's a vehicle in existence, in modern day existence, that could do without AC, it would be a Jeep Wrangler, since in the summertime you should just have the top and the doors and everything off. But when I was buying this at auction, like it never even dawned on me that AC was an option. I thought they all had AC, and I've seen a bunch of Wranglers and they all had AC. This says AC delete, which normally being legit street cars, I'd be like kind of upset about this because you want to have like all the features. For some reason, I kind of think this is cool. And I don't think I'd ever use the AC anyway. Like in the summer, I'm definitely dropping the top or removing the top or whatever Jeep guys say. Is there anything newer than 2004 where it was an option? This had to have been one of the last factory modern cars where you could say no to AC and yes to fake factory head studs. Part of the valve cover gasket job on this Jeep is to remove these, and there's a little rubber grommet on the bottom, so it just slides off like that. You can throw that out. Don't throw this out. The new gasket comes with new ones. Over in the wash bay, I'm going to use the pressure washer on this. Little sneak peek to some shop upgrades we got going on at the moment. I'll show off a bunch of cool stuff in a future update video. But for now, let's clean. This PCV valve is going to be the death of me. I just broke off the top. It will not come out. Like, this is nuts. I don't know. It will not come out. If I don't get this grommet out and this thing back on the road, I'll never get a rubber duck. Yes. Oh, I got it. Get out of here, old crusty grommet. Oh my gosh. Did I do it? Did I do it? Yes. Yes. I did it. I got the grommet and the PCV valve out. While we wait on the new grommet, I want to pull out this gigantic coil pack. It does look fairly new, but I want to check the plugs, and you know I love borescoping. I just loosened up the clamp here on our snorkel. Yeah, we need to get that out of the way so we can get to that bolt. And we can just push this down out of the way like that. Pretty cool setup. Now we can get that bolt out. And now we should be able to pull this up. Oh no, the boots are staying on the plug. You can see the springs inside of there. That's all that is. And this is just an insulator. It just slides on like that. Okay, no big deal. That's back on. We could probably just leave our coil in here. This connector is being a pain in the butt. We just need to get to these plugs. These look pretty new, actually. See the dielectric grease? Yeah, this dielectric grease looks good. Let's pop some plugs out. What do we got? There's a nice looking plug right there. Yeah, that is basically new. It's an NGK R. Is that the same R as the GTR? Kind of the same font. That's boroscope, the inside of our Jeep Wrangler engine. Do we have forged pistons? I'm just kidding. We totally don't have forged pistons. These are stock, but man, looks good in here. Looks nice and dry. We got some nice cross hatching going on here. I'm a big fan of this cylinder. It looks great. Is that our valve? Hey, Val. This thing runs beautifully. I wasn't expecting to see anything weird in there, but if you got a plug out, why not? Even though our spark plug looks brand new and we could totally reuse it, I am gonna go with a different spark plug, a shorter spark plug, which makes it a colder spark plug. Why would anyone do that? But the reason this is a colder plug is because we have less of the porcelain here. So that is an insulator. And so this is going to be able to dissipate heat more quickly into the cylinder head. That's what makes it a colder plug, where this one, having more of this material, is going to keep all the heat in the spark plug before it gets dissipated into the cylinder head. So that is the difference. Some spark plugs, if they're different heat ranges, will look physically the same. But in the case of the Jeep, the factory plug is just much hotter and longer, and that's for emissions, a hotter burn. But we're gonna go with a less efficient, colder burn for reasons that are unknown right now, unless you know. We're gonna also take these colder spark plugs and gap them down a little bit to 24 thousandths. So you guys have seen me use my fancy gapper tool. And since we're going 24, we're actually gonna stick our 20 thousandths feeler gauge in here because there's a little recoil when you're done gapping. So we'll bring it down right to 20 thousandths, right there, and then let out. And now this is our 24 thousandths feeler and it fits in there perfectly. Cool, this one's gapped. I don't know what this was. It's supposed to be a thumbs up, but it was like a really awkward, weird one, like, All the new plugs are gapped. Pulled out all the old ones, so we'll go back together with these. So these spark plugs don't have a taper. They actually have a sealing ring, a crush washer, if you will. So right now I've just bottomed the spark plug out, and then we're just gonna give it, and then another quarter turn right there. And it's torqued, that's it. And right on the box on NGK, it'll tell you exactly to do that. Or with the taper, you do much less, like a 16th and 1/8, something like that. All the plugs are in. We're gonna spray a little bit of silicone spray on these boots so they glide over the plug nicely. And now we just reinstall this large coil. It reminds me of the coils on the V12 Mercedes. All right, that's it. I just push right on. All right, spark plugs are done. And don't worry, my choice of plugs and plug gap will all make sense in a future Jeep LegitStreetCars video that may or may not be the very next Jeep video that comes out. Let's spray these bolts down. We might need to take these out at some point. I've cleaned up our mating surface, and now we have a cool blue valve cover gasket going in. And of course we have this harness contraption back here to deal with. So annoying. There we are. Now it's sliding over our fake studs. Cool. Got our new grommet and PCV valve, MB sunroof grease going on. Hopefully this goes together much easier than it came apart. Okay, that's in. This is the tightest fit ever. Oh, what in the world, people? Why? More sunroof grease, that'll fix it. Yes. Oh, it's on. That is so unnecessary. Jeez. Coming up in here with a valve cover. It's all cleaned up. A new super easy PCV valve. Now we're just gonna get this wiring harness just slightly out of the way. It doesn't really get in the way. I'm just kidding, it does. Yes. Yes. She's howling like Donkey Kong. Remember that? Oh, my arm's stuck. Okay. Well, I just took the valve cover back off. That was fun. I totally forgot about these little guys. And yeah, you can put them on after the fact, but it was just too much of a pain in the butt. So they're all on there now. You pop one in and then go ahead with the metal washer right away so it doesn't come out. Going back together with about 48 11s, some with studs for no apparent reason. I thought I was done with that PCV valve, but I'm not. It's stuck inside of here, of course. This is a special little hose adapter that goes from narrow to large, so I don't want to ruin it, but this thing is giving me no choice. All right, I think I got it. Yeah, I'll order a new one, okay. You will order every single part for me known to mankind. I'm a Jeep. Look at the Jeep's upper teeth. They're so little. Shut up. All right, snorkel intake going back on so we can go, underwater and whatnot. We'll hook up the world's best PCV system ever. And we have a throttle cable system. This thing doesn't have cruise control either. It says no options. This is like the most base Jeep ever. No cruise, no AC. But again, it's like the only car I'm kind of okay with not having really any features like that. It's got throttle. I like that. All right, intake tube going back on. Fresh air intake for the PCV system. I've ordered up a brand new oil pan, so I'm just going around the Jeep right now and figuring out everything that it needs. And because these things are prone to a death wobble, which means you're cruising along on the highway, not even sometimes like 40, 50 miles an hour, the front wheels will start to shimmy and shake really bad. It can get super dangerous, and we don't want that to happen. So one of the causes could be the steering shock right here. So it's really easy to check. Luckily, we just have to remove this nut and pop the steering shock out. This is coming pretty nice, and we'll be able to see if this thing's good. We'll pop it out like that. Get out. Yeah, this feels pretty good. So when these are blown out, you can move this back and forth really easily. But yeah, I'd say this is okay. And you can see it used to be yellow, but they've painted a lot of stuff black underneath here. Might be why it didn't rust, but yeah, I'm good with this. So we can just go ahead and pop it back on. So you guys remember when I was outside turning the steering wheel, we were getting some rubbage, and I think it's right here on the control arm. You can see a clean spot. And then right here on the tire, let's check this side out. Yeah, clean spot right there and a little bit of wear on the tire. So we'd either need to space the wheel out, or maybe they make a tubular control arm that's a little narrower so it won't hit. Yeah, I wouldn't mind, honestly, changing some of this up. The bushings aren't in the best shape anyway. But right now we gotta see inside of the differential that has lockers. And we can tell that because of this cable going in and the levers that are underneath the driver's seat. And this cover is leaking a little bit. It's just RTV, so let's pop it off and see what's inside. All right, let's do a little zip zam zoo action. Oh, the bolts are out. Now it's just gonna be a matter of prying this thing because it is super glued in there, if you will. There's no good spot to pry. Glue's coming off pretty easy though. There we go. Just need a little shimmy. Ooh, there's our diff fluid. Oh yeah. All right. Cool. There is our locker shift fork. This is what the cable attaches to. So here's the inner working of our TJ Jeep Wrangler rear differential with the locker. So we have the $3,000 receipts for the 456 gears. So for that, they swap out the ring gear, which is this one, and the pinion, which is that one there, that's getting spun by the old drive shaft. But this is the actual differential and the locker unit. So right now, this is unlocked. We're holding this wheel, and this one will still spin. So see, that one is not spinning. We have an open differential, so when you go around turns, you're not skipping around. But if we were to activate this with our levers inside, which by the way, let's go see if those work. In theory, if these things work, which I gotta say, that feels like way too easy. Huh, okay. That should be locked. No, but that didn't move at all. Let's do the front. Oh yeah, no, there's gotta be something disconnected in here. That's just too easy. Let's see if this locked now. Yeah, both of these would spin at the same time. These are still open. I wonder if they pulled a pin out or something, because those levers just, you're physically moving that shift fork in there. It should be actually a little difficult to do. That was too easy. I think something might be disconnected for the locker system. So it looks like this plate on the inside is held in by a bunch of Phillips screws. So I've already loosened them up. Now we can take them out with the gun. It's loose. That's working. I mean, as far as, you know, the lever up there is moving the cable. That's for the front. Yeah, this is the rear one. It's not even hooked up to the cable. I think it's broken off. So for the front, it does look like there's maybe some adjustment left there. It's hard to see in there, but the rear cable is just broken off the lever completely. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, to really fix the lockers on this, we're just gonna wanna replace the entire cable, front and rear, and call it a day. So something else to get on order. But if we had a functioning cable, this shift fork would move, it would slide down, which would push this in, and it would mechanically lock both of the axles, and they would spin at the exact same speed, so that if you were off-roading and one wheel was off the ground, you would still be sending power to the other wheel, where in an open differential situation, it's gonna take the path of least resistance, and it's gonna just free spin this wheel that's off the ground. And that's why lockers are awesome. I will eventually have them one day. This cable was honestly kind of compromised already. This isn't good. I cleaned up our mating surface so we can reseal this cover, and I found some markings here on the ring gear. So D35 stands for Dana 35. and then 456 gears. And then I found the locker kit, proudly made in the USA. Pretty pricey for each locker. You're looking at about $1,400 before taxes and shipping, so about $1,500. That's each, so you got 2 of those. So you got $3,000 in lockers and cables and shifter mechanism and everything. And then we have the receipt for the 456 gears with all the new bearings, rebuild kits, everything installed was another $3,000. So basically you could have $6,000 into a Dana 35 in the rear, and these have Dana 30s in the front. That's a lot. But there's a good chance this has the updated axle option. This has a very thick cover. I did a little research, and apparently these parts are very high quality, like they are strong. So once we fix the locker, I think we're good in the differential department, and they don't make any noise or anything like that. So I'm okay. I'm okay with this, especially because we got the rear disc brakes now. With this cleaned up, we can add a little bit of silicone. Not too much, and I want to go on the inside here of these bolt holes, just like that. Some people will just do the bead and call it a day. I do like to mimic the original gasket, which was a flat gasket, so I spread it out a little bit, and this is obviously a very tight fit with that thick metal cover, so you don't need a whole ton of RTV to make a good seal. And the last one was leaking, so hopefully this does better. So now we have to line up the fork before we go together. Okay. That's actually pretty easy to do. You really can't install this anywhere else. And now we will start our bolts. Lots of bolts. These bolts had no washers, so I'm adding lock washers to them. Give it some Alex clicks, click. And we are good to go. Just gotta fill this bad boy. For the rear differential, we're using 75 140 severe gear. So this is some extreme heavy duty gear oil. It's gonna protect our investment for sure. Get in there, oil. Now, just like on the trans, as soon as it starts coming out, you're done. So that's 1 full bag. Almost done with bag number 2. Oh, there it is. There it is, we're good. All right, we'll tighten up this plug, and rear diff service and reseal is done. Well, that's it for fluids. We're gonna do the transfer case potentially when we do a new transmission, because I am already looking up the 6-speed manual swap for this. So we don't wanna do fluids twice, and we have an oil pan on order, so we're not gonna change the oil just yet either. And I don't know, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to get into this front diff. I had to put fluid in the back so we can move it, but I'm not gonna drain this out just yet. Let's give this a tighten. Okay, fix that. Now, I definitely want to keep my Jeep frame and everything underneath here as rust-free as possible. And the frame does look to have been coated or painted at some point, but I want to see if I can clean up the floors at all. And so I'm just going to start soaking them in a little bit of release. Probably just did everything. Yeah, it's just a little muddy, you know, from probably doing Jeep stuff. Look at these floors. We'll get all in here too. The mud has protected it at this point. Going a little crazy here, guys, as I tend to do with cleaning. Hopefully this is gonna look good. I mean, it already looked pretty good, but yeah. All right, I'm done. Let's pressure wash. Now let's fire this cheap Jeep up. Good old straight 6. Runs great, I must say. Good oil pressure, good everything. Well, minus AC. The trans has a little bit of glitter. The lockers don't work. Those are just little details. Honestly, this is the perfect broken Jeep for me. I'd much rather fix all of this stuff than rotted out frames and floors. That was my #1 priority when picking out a Jeep, and I wanted a cool color like yellow. This one was perfect. Time to get up on these ramps. It's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand. Is that the Jeep, right? You go like this or something, and then, yeah, I'll get there. Oh yeah. This thing is awesome. If the car was actually lowered, it would work better. I shouldn't have gone up on the ramps. Oh, we got lots of dirt coming off though. Woo! I think it's gonna be best just to pressure wash from underneath. It's really cold and I'm gonna get nasty, but I don't care because I love my Jeep. All right, so yeah, they did spray it with something. I don't think they come factory like that. I think it would just be yellow underneath. Yeah, we can definitely clean this up. Real nice. Woo! I'm not trying to remove all the black. I just want a clean surface so that I can spray my own undercoating on there and it's not going to, you know, soak into dirt first. So we just want bare metal, paint, black stuff, just anything but dirt and oil. Definitely gonna get carried away. Why not clean off our transmission? You know, just in case it doesn't grind anymore. This is a horrible day to do this. I should have done it in the summer. I'm getting very carried away, guys. Check out this contraption. This is one of those turbo nozzles. Don't use this on paint or anything because it could legit destroy your paint. But it starts off slow, kind of like a turbo. Got a little lag. I think it's gonna help clean this up big time. This is gonna be awesome, guys. I'm gonna be out here forever. Yeah, you guys saw the rust on those other Jeeps. I never want to get there with this. Gotta protect it. And yes, we're gonna be undercoating it tomorrow. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, so I know it still looks bad, but this is like perfectly clean. Okay, this is just undercoating and the bottom of the floor. Oh yeah. There you go, frame rail. Look at how nice that frame rail is. All the nooks and crannies. Say hello to my little friend. Coil spring getting some love. Shocks that I'm probably gonna replace, getting some love. Woo. Whew. You guys ever take one of those like cold plunge baths or whatever? It's like that, but saltier. I'm gonna take this thing around the block and we'll see if it shifts any better. It's notchy. Like you could totally get it to never grind, but you know something's going on in there. It's mostly on the 1 to 2, of course. If you guys saw the Camaro series, you know how that goes. 1 to 2 is just the most commonly used gear, you know, especially on a city vehicle. So here's 1 to 2. And yeah, it doesn't grind. Let's just keep doing that one. Let's see if we can get it to grind. Before it was grinding right away. Do a little throttle. Wow, that was actually like a really quick shift and it didn't grind at all. Okay, it would mostly grind when it was cold. Full throttle! Oh my God, it doesn't grind. That was awesome. I could never get it to not grind at full throttle shifting. That's crazy. Full throttle. Oh my God. And into third is beautiful too. God, the notchiness is like gone. I don't know if the fluid just needed to kind of circulate and do its thing there, but wow. You rarely ever fix a car by swapping out fluids, you know, or additives and all that kind of stuff. It's usually, if something's broken, it's broken. Which obviously we have a little bit of clutch material in there, but you can't argue with the results here, people. Full throttle. Yeah, there's no grinding. There's no grinding. That's awesome. At the very least, we prolonged the life of this 5-speed manual transmission. Oh, and I was going to do the 6-speed swap. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, well, you know what, if this is bad and, you know, we have 456 gears in here, on the highway it'd be nice to have that 6th gear. And then I found out that it's actually a lower gear. So like you want it to be a taller gear, so to speak, to drop the RPM. But the final gear ratio in the 6-speed is actually closer to 1-to-1 than in the 5-speed. So there's literally no advantage to the 6-speed. And a lot of guys say they like the 5-speed better because the first gear in the 6-speed, they say, especially with 456s, is like unusable. It's too low. That was like the big change, was the first gear. I'm totally happy with my first gear. So anyway, this thing is shifting great. We're definitely gonna move on with this project and maybe worry about the transmission later. I should just stop talking about the trans and not try this again, but I'm gonna try it again. Full throttle. Oh no, I mean guys, there's nothing here. Let's do into third. It's perfect. It's not even notchy anymore. That's crazy. Jeep 5-speed guys, is it normal-ish, especially at 127,000 miles, to see a little bit of the synchro material in the fluid? On some old school transmissions, it's actually normal to see a little bit of that flake in there, especially after so many miles, and you may not have any issues. But I mean, this is good, guys. So, I mean, lesson learned here. If you guys have a manual transmission that has just some notchiness and maybe it's grinding every once in a while, try like a $50 fluid change for sure with some really good quality stuff. Obviously, I love AMSOIL, but there's good stuff out there from all the other major synthetic brands. But I will leave you guys a link down below because I sell AMSOIL and you guys can get 25% off. But anyway, I think we're good. I just passed a cop there. He was eyeballing me. Stay back. My frame's not rotted. There's nothing to see here. Maybe that's what he wants to see. What do we have here? What is all that? I don't know, guys, but we should check it out. You know, I mean, I happen to have a Jeep with 4-wheel drive. I'm crawling on rocks. This counts, guys, this counts. All right? I don't live out in the country. I just don't have that many options. I hope there's no big nails here. Yeah! Guys, look at this mountain right here. Look at this. Yeah! Go ahead, take a picture. It's a screenshot. Think I'm gonna make it? Oh yeah. So much ground clearance. It's man and his machine. There's a big puddle of water over there that I really want to go through, but we just cleaned underneath. So let's get this up in the air. We'll dry it and we'll undercoat it. And we are going to be talking to the previous owner who has all the receipts. I kind of forgot. I should probably clean up the engine, you know? Manifold looks kind of nasty. Well, I learned something. You don't need that clamp. Oh, geez, guys, I forgot to put that clamp back on after the valve cover. And we just drove this, got it up to full operating temperature. It didn't blow off. That's kind of cool. We'll clean that clamp.
Hey, Alex, my name's Brad. I believe you have my old yellow Jeep.
That's right. Thanks for calling me, Brad. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we got lucky. One day in time, I threw them away yesterday. Took them out to the trash.
The receipts?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I gave them everything, so I have it all. Again, I bought the car as it sit. I literally put 300 miles on it in my ownership.
Oh, how long ago did you buy it?
I bought it March 15, 2024.
Oh, wow, you just bought it. Okay.
I kept it for the summer.
How much did you pay for it?
10 G's.
10 grand, yeah. I figured that's about what it was worth, but obviously when you trade it in, it's not worth much.
I had a 2012 Wrangler, and then one of my customers came in, and he wanted an FJ Cruiser that we had, but I couldn't get him enough for his Wrangler. So I said, well, I like your Wrangler better than my Wrangler, even though it's 8 years older, so I'll trade in mine, and you give me yours.
So was it that guy that did all the modifications to it?
It was the previous owners.
Okay.
He did all the mods. She couldn't drive a manual. She's like, we need an extra car at the house that I can drive. She's like, this thing literally just sits there. You're the only person in the house that can drive it. And he's like, I had my fun with it. He put like 20 G's into that Super Jeep.
Wow. Yeah, I know this stuff adds up. This one's got the lockers. The only receipt I could see in the auction listing was for 456 gears. And I'm assuming
that was $3 grand, 456 gears, and then the extended fender flares, Dixie Peck tires, rough country spare tire, space saver, repaint the front bumper, pressure plate flywheel.
Oh, cool. It's got a clutch. Awesome.
Fresh clutch, yep, replace clutch.
Nice.
It's got a clutch at 112.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's only got 127 now, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, they got a clutch at 112 in 2020. 6 spark plugs, an ignition coil, and an oxygen sensor at 111, and then the radio.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's got a great stereo in it.
And we can't put the rear seat in.
We got it. We got it in. We got it in. I moved the sub to the back, and we got the seat in. It's perfect.
But yeah, my girlfriend absolutely hated it. And my girlfriend drives a Jeep Wrangler.
That's hilarious. This one is a little like more off-road and rugged. Like I showed it to my family and they're like, wait, there's no carpets. It's a stick shift. It's really tall. I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is, you know, the straight six. Last of the old ones.
6 gears, the 4-liter inline 6. I mean, I bought it for all the same reasons you bought it for. I'm never going to use it, so why am I going to occupy my garage?
Yeah, it's understandable. I know all about running out of space for cars. That's for sure.
Yeah, I sold a lot. I'm down to like 8 right now.
Oh, you got 8? Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I was up to 13 or 14 at one point.
Yeah, it's about where I'm at. Well, hey, thank you so much for getting me the receipts and taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Car people are the best. That is fantastic. They took the time, you know, to call me and give me all this information. And we're gonna get the receipts so we can see. I'm hoping the amount of money that it costs to do the lockers is in there. I wanna add everything up, but I mean, he paid 10 for it. I thought it'd be worth 10 to 12 easy, especially with receipts. Honestly, that stuff is important. It's the next morning and I have showered, except I just put on this totally wet shirt from yesterday because I'm about to do some undercoating. This thing's dirty already. Might as well get it, you know, smelly. Stuff smells, but it works well. So I had the fan blowing up to the Jeep frame all night so everything is totally dry. And this is what we have. So I know it doesn't look pretty, but this is a combination of undercoating and the normal yellow Jeep underneath. And this is pretty real world for a Jeep that's been off-road. It's still a little dirty, but honestly, that's why I like this stuff. Unlike the black rubberized undercoating, you can do this on a surface that's not totally prepped. And that's because it goes on as a liquid, like you can see here. So it's gonna soak into everything. If you do the rubberized undercoating, the surface has to be perfect. If there's dirt, you're gonna trap it with the rubberized undercoating, and then if there's any moisture in that dirt, which there probably is, it's gonna rust underneath. So on a used vehicle that's 20 years old, that's a little dirty, definitely use this. On a brand new vehicle or like a frame off restoration where you can grind and prep everything, then you can use the black, you know, paint or rubberized undercoating, something like that. But this is way more realistic. And it's gonna do a fantastic job at not only protecting everything, but it does make everything just look great. It goes on as kind of this dark orange color. So yeah, we're gonna do everything, literally everything, including steering and suspension components and bolts and stuff like that. It'll make disassembly much easier. Later, we'll do this diff, but most importantly, we are doing the frame inside and out. And again, it goes on like a liquid and it's pretty atomized, so it's gonna get in everywhere. And they do sell a little nozzle that you can use as well to get inside hard to reach frames, but this one's like wide open. Yeah, we can fog everything out. Oh man, I'm gonna feel so much better ripping on this thing in the middle of winter, doing, you know, 4-wheel drive burnouts and whatnot, donuts and all sorts of other shenanigans that you do with the Jeep. But now that it's protected, I don't care if they salt. Go ahead, Chicago. Salt away, buddy. We're gonna be fully protected, and once this dries, it'll turn into kind of a harder, waxy film, and it'll stay on there for many, many years. I'll use about 2 cans of this. It'll take me about an hour, hour and a half. We got all the doors open. I'm about to put my respirator on, be safe, and I'll leave a link down below, of course, to the AMSOIL heavy duty metal protector. It's almost winter. You guys should do this stuff now. It's about an hour later. I'm done coating everything. So you can see here it is already starting to dry up. And really important to get your parking brake assembly so this will never freeze up. Of course, we got all of the floors and all of the frame rails as well. They're gonna stay looking like this forever. I get the brake backing plates also because those can rot out. Anyway, I'll show you what this looks like in about 2 hours once it's dry. It's been a couple hours. The undercoating is mostly dry. Not fully dry, but you can see it's turning into a wax. So as long as it's not raining out, you can totally drive it at this point. Probably takes about 4 or 5 hours, especially if it's cold, for this to fully cure. But now my Wrangler is fully protected for whatever shenanigans we get into this winter. Hey, look at this. Look at this. And well, first off, could a battery go here? This looks like a battery tray, but this, it's magnetic. Was right here. We gotta open this. I'm hoping there's another key or something. I'm not even gonna try and guess at this. We're hammering. It's plastic. It's really strong plastic. Jeez, they're not messing around here. Brake. Oh. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, looks like another key. Yes. Yeah, sweet. Spare key. Good deal. It's a couple days later, and look what I have, all of the paper receipts. So he did email me copies, but they didn't turn out very nice on the scanner, so he mailed them to me. I have everything that was in the auction pictures. So I just consolidated everything on the board, and then I have a grand total behind my head, unless you can see it right now. I don't know if I'm blocking it. But anyway, I just wanted to make this as simple and as quick as possible. But most of this stuff, about half of this stuff, doesn't include labor, like the suspension, the lift, track bar, sway bar links, and some brackets. It's about $1,200 just in parts. Wheels and tires, $1,700 just in parts. Diff, axles, and locker. About half of this has labor, the rest are parts. It's about $7,000. So like we talked about earlier, the lockers are $1,500 a piece, plus aftermarket axles too. And then the ring and pinion, labor, all that, it's expensive. Bumpers and rock sliders, we got about $1,000 in parts. We have lights, a snorkel, and mirrors. I just consolidated all those, $400. We have a receipt for a new clutch, $1,200. We have a stereo for $1,000. Fender flares for $400. Did I add the miscellaneous? I got a bunch of miscellaneous, like all sorts of maintenance, just for like 5 years was like $3,000. So when he said on the phone that the previous owner spent like 20 grand. He definitely spent 20 grand. Let me show you here. So if we add up all of the modifications and all of the receipts, this guy put about $16,900 into the Jeep. Again, most of that doesn't include labor, and it's only for the last like 5 years of this Jeep's 20-year life. And if we factored in that a stock version of this Jeep in this good of condition around where I live is worth about $9,000, we have a grand total of $25,900. And considering the fact that the transmission is not grinding anymore, and even if I needed a new trans, they're like used like $1,000 or something like that, I think I got a really, really good deal. But this is probably the biggest lesson, I guess, to be learned here outside of just change your transmission fluid. That's important. This Jeep right now, as it sits, would probably only be worth like, I don't know, 12 or 13,000. And that's because you never get your money back on modifications. So if you wanted a Wrangler and you wanted one modified like this, and you went out and inspected it and you thought they did a pretty good job, and you didn't want the adventure of modifying your Jeep yourself, you are financially way better off just buying one that is totally done. Because, you know, as you can see there on the board, it costs a lot of money to do this, but they really don't retain their value. A stock one versus one like this, there's a difference of, I don't know, about $4,000, something like that. And clearly We have way more than $4,000 into this thing. Now, I have some pretty big and kind of unique plans for the old Jeep Wrangler. I may have left some hints in this video, so comment down below if you know what I'm about to get into in the next Jeep Wrangler video. And with that, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope you're into the Jeep Wrangler, and if you are, give this video a big thumbs up. Share the video with your friends, family, and fellow Jeep enthusiasts. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's a little button down there. It's totally free, and it really, really helps me out. But most importantly, have a fantastic day. I'll see all of you in the next video. So one of the big reasons, how's that looking? Oh, okay, cool. One of the big reasons, this is a cool looking like harmonic balancer here on the right. This is a cool looking center, and look at this, it basically has a harmonic balancer. Where is that pesky little oil leak? Ah, this is wet. That's why we can't see very well. Is that better? That's a little better. I'll just film right into the sun. Why I'm doing that. I'm wiping my camera lens with this shirt. That's great.